story now to Gaza, where after 2 weeks of heavy bombardment, Israel said it has completed its military operation in and around the biggest hospital there, and all troops have now left the area. Well, I'm joined now by Juliette Touma, Communications Director at the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees. Thanks very much for your time here on BBC News. In light of those recent events, what is the situation there on the ground like?
It's been 6 months, and it feels a bit like it's on repeat, except that it's real life with real people, hospitals turning into death zones, children emaciated, dying by the day from malnutrition and lack of water. We're talking really about the basics, and half a nation is on the verge of famine. So much more needs to be done if we'd like to avert this situation.
Is there any movement on that aid situation?
Not much. The most significant is the order from the International Court of Justice from a few days ago that called, or asked rather, for a facilitation of humanitarian assistance into Gaza, including to the north. You see, UNRWA is now banned by the Israeli authorities from taking trucks of food and nutrition supplies, including for children, to northern Gaza, and that must change. And much more aid needs to come in via road, because as we've seen in recent days, other means of delivering aid to Gaza are lethal and quite dangerous. So the safest, most fastest, efficient way, cheaper way is to give assistance via the road to the United Nations, including to UNRWA.
We're just seeing pictures of the aid drops from the air there. Is it the situation that actually makes the matters worse because people are having to go into water to get the aid, or is it the case that it is worth it because some people are getting aid? Would you prefer not to see aid drops from the air?
I prefer to see a safe way for people to get much needed humanitarian assistance, including food. And that can be done if there was a political will. And logistically, it's very easy. You put food on trucks and you drive them a few kilometers from the south to the north. It shouldn't be very complicated, and that's the safest way if there was a political will from the Israeli authorities.
What is the situation like for people in that area around the hospital? We saw those pictures there of the Al-Shifa hospital in ruins. Do you know the situation of people who the survivors of what happened there?
In northern Gaza, we're talking about just over 250,000 people who have been isolated, deprived from the basics, including food supplies. As one example, UNRWA was last able to deliver food more than 2 months ago. And so people are struggling, they are starving. This is the pockets of Gaza that have been identified by the United Nations as pockets of starvation, as pockets on the verge of famine. So there needs to be a few things that should happen right away. First of all, a ceasefire to abide by the UN Security Council resolution from recently, to follow the order from the International Court of Justice, and to allow humanitarian aid flow into northern Gaza, including via UNRWA by the road.
OK, Juliette Touma, thank you very much. Juliette Touma, Director of Communications at UNRWA, speaking to me there.